Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so very much for tuning in to my super chat. Well, first off, Eric and Luke, thank you so very, very much for being amazing moderators. And to my super chat, thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a very interesting topic. And this is really interesting because there is a public relations element of all of this that needs to be addressed. So what they've done from the very beginning, Sachin, hello. Eric, Luke, hello. Glaucomo, hello. From the very beginning, there's been this public relations element. This is the epitome of democracy. So, the recount in Arizona went through two judges. It went through two judges, a state legislature, and they're still not happy. By the way, to my super chat, thank you so very much. I appreciate your support greatly. So, ladies and gentlemen, there's a public relations element to this that needs to be addressed. I have no idea why a top Republican leader in Arizona had to notify the world that the ballots within the counted by cyber ninjas don't add up or don't correspond with the number that was found within the county, or the number of ballots that Maricopa counted. So one would think that you would need the same number. The vote tally could be different, so the vote totals could be different. They're starting up again. The Arizona Senate recount is starting again. It's counting of the actual ballots. Okay? So the actual ballots need to correspond. The number of ballots that they have need to correspond with the number of ballots that Maricopa counted. From what I understand, that's important. The fact that it's not corresponding is an issue. So this has nothing to do. Well, this is not a. The findings don't correspond to the vote totals, which is what this is all about. So Paul Kersey, hello. So let me just read this to you. Let me read this to you, and I'll see if I can try to explain this. So, there's an Arizona Republic article. And the article's below in the description section. And the article is, Senate recount delayed again. Karen Fann says Cyber Ninja's count of ballots doesn't match counties. Well, Karen Fann is awesome. And she's wonderful, but why tell the world this? Why? Why is that? Why would you do that? I have no clue. Because, Democrats would never, you would have 135,000 test ballots added to the official total. So I guess they'd be forced to explain that they messed up. But see, the entire planet is leveled against this recount. The entire planet is completely leveled against this recount. So I kind of don't understand what the point. I kind of don't understand what the point of saying, oh yeah, well, by the way, the 2 to 3 months of us doing this, we just actually, what's interesting, we don't have the same number of ballots counted as the actual county. I just don't get it. Maybe I am looking at this in the wrong way. I could be. Michael the Archangel, hello. Hope all is well. I know, I just don't get it. But let's read this. So, like, even if that's the case, why give this, like, this fuel to Democrats or media? Just to, I mean, they're going to ignore the fact that they added 135,000 test ballots to the original, or to the actual number, to the actual numbers for one of the candidates in New York's mayoral contest last month, or like 3 weeks ago. Okay? Here's an opinion. Auditor's ballot count doesn't match Maricopa County's tally. Shocker. Opinion. They're just using it to make fun of the audit. I don't get it. I don't get why bring it up. Why wouldn't you just, like, keep it under wraps? Then everybody, Washington Post, New York Times, you see, these numbers derived. They're so accurate. It's so, just like New Hampshire was so accurate. And so this, like, it's, I'll just read this here. The Arizona Senate's effort to do its own check on the number of ballots cast in Maricopa County's general election is not expected to begin until today. So today it restarted in the latest turn of for an unprecedented and controversial audit. It has, if Democrats were doing this, if the Orange Menace had won and Democrats were doing this, they'd be fine with it. They have zero. Look, journalists generally, or publications throughout the country, the Democratic Party, they have zero. They don't have a set value system. So if they weren't engaged in these recounts, they'd be totally fine with them. In fact, they did the same things. They did the same types of recounts in 2016. You can look. They went through the court system. They tried the recounts in the Midwest. Okay? They tried the same types of things. So they tried the same types of things. It just, when they were doing it, it was when they were doing it, it was simply, well, you know, this is justified because Russia infiltrated the election, and oh my God. So they actually tried the same types of things. When they say, oh, you know, there's foreign interference, it's like they purchased a Steele dossier, which is the definition of foreign interference. So, anyway, let's just read this here. And the recount, which will be the third tally of the ballots, got a new element of drama on Tuesday after Senate President Karen Fann told a radio show host that the companies hired by the legislator to review the election results had come up with a different number of ballots than Maricopa County officials. Why would you say this? Why? Why? I'm actually interested to see, like, okay, the one thing, yes, it is accurate to say that there's no evidence. There's no evidence you could point to say that the numbers were off. There's no evidence you could point to say that the numbers were off. Okay, because according to the recounts conducted by Arizona, which was only 1% to 2% of ballots, everything was just fine. The entire American political system was overrun within a short time span because apparently science and safety wouldn't allow people to go in person, even though Democrats had in-person primaries, and their primaries were conducted specifically to kick Bernie Sanders to the curb, so they didn't make an all-absentee ballot primary. And Paul Bartlett, hello. And so you had Postal Service, you had the counties themselves overrun, historic number of ballots, and the count was pristine. Okay, here's the issue with that. You already found, you've continually found anomalies, human errors that only benefit one side. Okay, that bolsters what President Trump was saying. Now, Are Democrats or media, are they right technically to say, well, there's no evidence of any widespread misconduct that would have flipped the outcome? That's true, but that's also somewhat of a semantic game. Yes, there's no evidence, but there was never an investigation based on any allegations or concerns leveled by Rudy Giuliani or Jenna Ellis or Trump. Now you have an example here where you're engaging in a recount, and Karen Fann was fantastic. CNN tried to get her in an interview, and she was just fantastic. So I have a great deal of respect for her. I think she was awesome. I believe that was Karen Fann that completely eviscerated the CNN. CNN tried to disparage the recount, and so she explained, hey, you know what? This is actually the epitome of democracy. We went through the state Senate. It was upheld by judges. It was a fantastic thing that she did. But I don't understand why would you go on a radio show and tell the whole planet that, oh, by the way, the bedrock of all of this is unstable. And again, it's not that big of a deal, because if you could just fix the problem and make sure that, because you're dealing with over 2 million ballots. So I get it. It might be 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 ballots off. Okay, but if you have one ballot off, if you have one number that's missing, this will be, oh my God. Jean-Louis Blackburn, thank you for the objective reports and the humor. Love your shows. Thank you so very much, Jean-Louis. Greatly appreciate it, Jean-Louis. Thank you. And I appreciate the kind words. I appreciate Joey, hello. I appreciate Paul Bartlett, hello. I appreciate the kind words, and I appreciate your support, Jean-Louis. Thank you very, very much. Thanks for the positivity as well. I do appreciate that very, very much. Jean-Louis Blackburn, thank you so very much. So she did a great job. And I know there's a tremendous amount of pressure that she's dealing with, because the entire American, all of American political media want Arizona to fail. They want Arizona Republicans to fail because it's a political affront. They lose in terms of you have to understand something. The reality of American politics is not addressed by 95% of media. You have Democrats that cheat their own candidates. Bernie Sanders was cheated. They don't care. They can't even run a functioning primary, but they don't care. They don't care. They just don't care. And they want to all they want to do is prove that these are partisan endeavors, that this is an affront on democracy, and that this is the most horrible thing on the planet. And it's yes, this isn't that big of a deal. They'll probably make sure that they found they'll probably make sure that they found they'll probably make sure that they found the appropriate number, the corresponding number of ballots. Okay? So the county and Cyber Ninjas will eventually have the same number of ballots, and maybe this will be forgotten, but this will be yet another, example of this amateur recount. And it's I don't understand why she had to tell the world. It doesn't make any sense from a political perspective. It makes no sense. It makes no sense at all. And a radio station, it wasn't some kind of inquiry. But anyway, so it's it was it was like well, let's just continue reading this here. So, and the recount, which will be the third tally of ballots, got a new element of drama after Senate President Karen Fann told a radio host, like, why does this, it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. Ay. Do you understand? You have a California Democrat who could have had a romantic relationship with an intelligence operative. They get away with everything! Everything! And just to let everybody know, yeah, they don't even correspond. What? Yeah, it's true. They don't correspond. The balance between the cyber ninjas and the Maricopa, it doesn't even correspond. Oh. Meanwhile, Dianne Feinstein and Richard Burr, they have stock trades right after a classified briefing. Right after a classified briefing, and totally fine, not a problem. But let's tell the world that the numbers don't correlate. That's fine, it's fine, tell the world. What could go wrong? Not like the whole planet wants to know. A reason to distrust the numbers, no problem. Michael the Archangel. I will definitely look into that. So it could be also that she wanted to so in the recount, which will be the third tally of ballots, got a new element of drama on Tuesday after Senator Karen Fann told a radio show host that the companies hired by the legislators to review the election results had come up with a different number of ballots than Maricopa County officials. Okay. So, that's true. That's true. I mean, it's good to be honest, but at the same time, it's like you're dealing with a media that is so dishonest and will use any effort or attempt. I mean, at the end of the day, they're probably... I do agree with you, Michael, and everybody here. I think that it's probably not going to be that big of an issue overall. Fann said the Senate will count the number of ballots, not how each ballot was voted, to gain check how many were cast. If the third total produces yet another number, that is likely to only heighten criticism of a process many election officials have maintained as unreliable and open to error. So it would be a public relations catastrophe. Because there's no margin, there's no room for error from a public relations viewpoint. And I have to be honest, I have to give my honest viewpoint on it. And believe me, like, I think that it's not that difficult. It's not that difficult. It's not that difficult to actually bring up the Democratic primary in 2016, last year, or the New York mayoral contest. It's not that difficult to say, yeah, you know what? You can't even run your own functioning primary. You can't even find out who wins within your own Democratic primary. You can't even find out. But again, I mean, this is like a public relations. It's like a complete public relations battle now. So you couldn't find more blindly obedient people than the average morally superior liberal Democrat. They'll believe anything from Russia took 2016 away from Madam Secretary to Trump is a criminal. We just don't know what he did. And it's like they will believe anything because their biases and their absurd viewpoints are bolstered by CNN, MSNBC. Like, they don't like Fox News. Fox News doesn't even back Trump. Like, they only back Trump, maybe 70% of the time. Or 60 to 70%. They don't back Trump 100% of the time. MSNBC never backs Trump. Like, you'll have people that will kind of side with Democrats even on Fox News. You will never get anybody on CNN or MSNBC or even the Washington Post or the New York Times to even write any article. Like, when we had record low unemployment, it was like, it was not really Trump's fault, It was President Obama's economy, even though the tax cuts did help boost GDP. And the infrastructure bill will not even, I don't understand how they're focused on an infrastructure bill that won't even help GDP. It will actually, according to the Wharton School, will actually decrease GDP. It makes no sense at all. But see, again, you're talking about people who lack critical thinking skills. They just want to feel morally superior. That's it. That's it. And so Shane B, hello. So let's continue reading. They haven't released the number yet. However, we do know those numbers do not match with Maricopa County at this point. Fann Prescott told Broomhead on the KTAR program. I have no clue why you would do that. I swear to God, I don't know what else to say. Why? Why would you do that? Like, if you want to be honest, great. But Democrats would never do that. Like, everything's fine. Everything was fantastic. What? Oh, okay, it's the Russians. Observers from the Arizona Secretary of State's office reported in June, for example, they witnessed a table of workers count a stack of ballots. The workers counted 24 ballots, while another count had tallied 25 ballots. In a credible audit, the batch would have been recounted. Instead, the table manager said she thought she found the 25th ballot stuck to another ballot and proceeded without recounting the batch, the observer. So it's like the observers of this recount had all of their concerns addressed, or at least publicized. The observers last year did not have the observers of last year's of November did not have their concerns addressed. So that's one issue. You're not going to get here's something that, like, this is something that I've noticed. So I support President Trump. He's a fantastic president. He single-handedly reversed U.S. foreign policy. He did. The Americans being with the withdrawal from regions of the world, that's not Biden. Biden got us there. Biden voted to get us there alongside Bush, Cheney, and Rumsfeld. It has nothing to do with Biden. President Trump, from signing prison reform legislation to having to withstand his own intelligence agencies investigating him, he's the antithesis of a despot. They say he's a despot and authoritarian. It's like, usually despots accuse others and investigate others with their own secret intelligence agencies. That's what happened to him. He's actually the antithesis of a despot. They say that, his personality, his words, like, you couldn't, the second someone deviates or, like, shows their own individual thought process or doesn't fall in line with Democrats. They're accused of being a Russian operative. A mindless, baseless, absurd claim that if you'd have to have zero functioning brain cells to believe that the Russians even care about the Democratic Party or the Kremlin is even afraid at all. But Moto B! How about a Chuck Schumer impersonation? You know, Moto B, well, there's one commercial like, if you give money to the Democratic Party, Trump and his cronies, well, he's basically wants money for the Democratic Party. Time is of the essence. We're counting on you to give support to kick Trump out of. I mean, it's like they have the Oval Office. They have the House, the Oval Office, and the Senate, and they're still not happy, and they still want money, of course. But that's the best Moto B. That's the best imitation that I can do. So, if you want, what was it? Time is of the essence. We're counting on you. It's like this script that he doesn't believe any of it, but it's the script that he's reading. It's kind of funny. So let's just look really quickly. I just noticed this, and I know that there are people who here. New Trump revelations underscore his this is like, they're not revelations. This is complete. Even TMZ is more accurate than the reporting. Like, you could look at the National Enquirer, and it's like the same type of thing. They don't even have, it will be remembered Trump allies cross him, especially. They're not going to succeed. Top general fear Trump would attempt. It's like there are top generals who agree with Trump. I'm sure there are top military people who agreed with Trump. Okay, anyone who agreed with Trump, you never hear of, or they're disparaged, or they're set up and framed like what happened to General Michael Flynn. This is like pure public relations. There are 2 books out, and that's the majority of stories against Trump. Unsubstantiated, baseless allegations. I could, but I won't. I mean, I could totally think of something and then continue with the thought. But who wants that? But what I'm trying to say really is, you go ahead and this is like, you understand every Trump Republican should understand one thing, okay? Every Trump Republican should understand one thing, okay? Joey Live, thank you so very much. I appreciate that. They should simply understand that the entire American political establishment is against them. The entire American political establishment is against them. And what they say is going to be spun and twisted. It does no good for you. I already explained, but it does no good to explain. Oh, yeah, you know what? Guess what, everybody? The ballots don't match. Yeah, the ballots don't match. We spent 3 months. We're going to find out if President Trump's claims are accurate or the Democrats are telling the truth for once in their lives. Yes. And it's, thank you, Eric H526. And it's like, you know who has a problem with this? Jean-Louis Blackburn. I can imagine a sheep sock puppet for Democrat when you do. Wah, wah, wah. Oh, that's Charlie Brown. Wah, 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 wah. Jean-Louis Blackburn. Oh, Ditch Mitch. That's the one. Jean-Louis Blackburn, Moto B. That's the one. That's the Schumer. So it's the Schumer. Okay, so that is the Schumer. That was the Schumer ad on YouTube, where he's like, "You can go ahead and ditch." No, we need your support to ditch Mitch. No, hold it. We need you. Wait, no. Donate now. Donate money now. Time is of the essence. There's an hourglass, and it's about to run empty. You can give money now to the Democratic Party for a fair and neutral. And you can ditch Mitch. I thought of that all myself. Ditch Mitch. Yes, I thought of that all myself. Nobody had to help me. I thought of that all myself. That was when I was enjoying a nice, wonderful time alone. Okay. That's what Schumer. Exactly. Jean-Louis Blackburn, thank you. But here is like you need like this is something like you have to. This is a problem, and I have to say this, like it's a problem with there's certain public relations issues. Like there are people who really like Marjorie Taylor Greene, but see, she has to like you can't say certain things. You can't like the message boards. You can't say things that make no sense. That like if AOC is able to like Democrats can get away with anything. This is something that Republicans or Trump Republicans need to understand. You're not dealing with the same level playing field in terms of media coverage. You can have Democrats say the most absurd things. Yad Vashem in Jerusalem would refutes AOC's absurd revisionist claims. But you can't have any liability in terms of a politician saying things or giving a type of political momentum. I'm sure, she's awesome. Karen Fann is awesome. She was wonderful on CNN. They tracked her down, and she just was calm, cool, collected. I was very impressed with how she dealt with the absurd accusations from the CNN journalist. But why? I just don't get it. See, it's really not that difficult. It's really not that difficult. Whenever you engage in, like, let's say a recount, just say, look, you know what? New Hampshire, or DNC primary 2016, or Debbie Wasserman Schultz. They don't think, like, Trump Republicans or Republicans in general don't think like Democrats. So you don't know the Achilles heel of Democrats. And this is a difficult thing. It's a difficult thing in terms of public relations. It's difficult if you don't understand the Achilles heel of Democrats. Then you don't know what they're trying to hide and what they're trying to. Like I would love to debate a whole bunch of people with million subs on the left. I've offered to debate them, haven't heard back, but that's, they're running from me. Well, that's the logic on the left. But it's like, I know they're Achilles heels. I know they can't run functioning primaries. I know they vote alongside the Lincoln Project. I know they don't really care about climate change, because if they did, they wouldn't have passed a resolution. See, I bring up a lot of these things, and people are like, It's really important, though. Little things like the Green New Deal resolution. Okay, that's the last time they talked about climate change. It really is the last time. And then they'll say, "Oh my God, the planet is at stake." If you truly believed the planet was going to end, would you pass a resolution or would you pass legislation? And if you really believed the planet was going to end and only you knew the answers, okay, Kerry, for example. John Kerry did even worse in terms of public relations than what Karen Fann did in Arizona, okay? Karen Fann was just innocently telling the truth, which there was no need to from a political perspective, but fine. John Kerry goes, "Oh, well, even if you go zero carbon emissions, us and the country with the greatest population still wouldn't make a dent." So it's like, Jimmy Summers, hello from AZ. I think she is saying the county supervisor's count don't match the actual. More than likely, the county has reported thousands more. Okay, that could be the case. So Jimmy Summers, I could be wrong. I hope I'm actually wrong on. So Jimmy, thank you. That could be the case. I think that. I mean, the article I read stated. So Jimmy, you could be right, or that could be the reason I'm not 100% understanding this. So I could this entire segment I might not 100% be getting what she was saying. So Jimmy, thank you. I could be wrong in all of this. Based on what I read, they didn't make a judgment on the vote totals based on what I read. It was the ballots, and from my understanding, you would need the ballots that Cyber Ninjas had and the county to correspond. But maybe from the recount perspective, there were more for one political candidate than the other, which was bizarre. So Jimmy, thank you so very much. Jimmy Summers, thank you. So that could be the case. Politically correct NPC. My super chat got sent, so just saying hi. Politically correct NPC. Thank you. Thank you. I greatly appreciated. Greatly appreciated. So I think she's saying county supervisors count don't match the actual. More likely, the county has reported. So, but if that's the case, that would be the vote total. I'm not understanding something. More for. Oh, gotcha. Oh, now I'm a little slow, but eventually I got. Okay, so gotcha. But we would still have to work with the total number given. Jimmy and everybody here, wouldn't they still have to work with the total number given last November? So at the end of the day, in November, I forgot what date it was, but at the end of the day, they would still have to recount the final total of ballots that were. They would still have to recount the final total of ballots that were reported. I'm hoping that I'm going to get that the Senate, or tomorrow, or the Senate. I'm hoping that the Senate Republicans tomorrow or the next day or soon will find out, or will explain what happened. That is interesting. Politically correct NPC, thank you. But if the count, okay, so but then the number of ballots that they were given. So then I guess the rebuttal could be that they were not given the accurate number of ballots. See, something has to this is the issue here. This is the issue. Something has to there has to be some kind of alignment in terms of the number of ballots that is the official count last November, in terms of the ballots that they had, the physical ballots they had, not the vote totals. I'm not talking about the vote totals. I'm talking about the physical number. So physically, the physical number of ballots should match the total. Okay, it's Jimmy Summers. I heard there are many missing. That could be the case. There could have been. I am too. I am confused as well. Jimmy, that could be the case. Either way, I just wish that, it's like sometimes everything's just great. I mean, it's not. I get it. It's good to be totally transparent. But my question, though, is there's a difference. Okay, there's a difference between the physical number and the vote totals for each candidate. The physical number should correspond between Cyber Ninjas and Maricopa. The vote totals is what we're trying to find out. And if they say, well, the big issue is the absentees. I'm assuming they're going to try to find out if for example, votes counted shouldn't have been for whatever reason, whether it was a signature or whatever. But ladies and gentlemen, yeah, so sorry I didn't have a more uplifting topic to discuss. But Jimmy Summers, thank you. Politically correct NPC. That is a fantastic message, and I appreciate that my super chat got censored, so saying hi. I do appreciate that. Politically correct NPC. I'm going to try to start earlier tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen. I'll try to start earlier tomorrow. And ladies and gentlemen, thank you so very much. I think I'm going to head out in about a minute or 2 minutes. But yeah, we'll see. I'm very interested. I'm very, very interested to here. This is the typical. What happened to Representative Elise Stefanik? I knew Representative Elise Stefanik when she was a college student, and it's like what you're publishing op-eds from people who, and I never saw coming. What was her decision to put herself on the fast track by becoming a truth-denying acolyte of Donald Trump? What? What does that even mean? This is the Chicago Sun-Times. You find somebody that a politician grows up with who's a Democrat, and then it's just a hit piece. You could run the same types of articles against Democrats also. I grew up with Nancy Pelosi, and in biblical times, I never met somebody more conservative. But suddenly, the past 2,000 years or 3,000 years, her policies changed. What's going on? I remember back in the day, our gym teacher was named Moses. And, it's like you could go and you could do the same thing. Anyway, give me your thoughts below. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so very much. Freedom Autopsy, hello. I'll be back tomorrow, everybody. Sorry I started so late tonight. I'll try to be back earlier. Galactic Roy, hello in New Zealand. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. Tell your friends and family if you enjoy this channel. Tell your friends and family about this channel. And I will see you all tomorrow, everybody. Thank you so very much, everyone. Thanks again. To Eric and Luke, thank you.